Welcome to From Campus to Careers, the Careers and Placements podcast, where we help Aston students take the next steps into their future career. I'm Christy from the Careers and Placements team, and today is another episode that forms part of our 4-part mini-series about the Aston Power Skills. The Power Skills have been embedded into every undergraduate course here at Aston and are designed to help our students prepare for the modern workplace and the global challenges they may face ahead. Today on the podcast, we welcome PJ Ellis, a passionate advocate for people, positive change, and his hometown of Birmingham. PJ's career spans law, marketing, and media, moving from solicitor to entrepreneur to charity leader and now BBC presenter. He also co-hosts the Wit and Grit podcast and founded initiatives like All Right Bab and Mommy's Boy, which focus on authentic conversations and community support. Beyond broadcasting, PJ has co-founded Loveborough, a charity you might be familiar if you are from the Birmingham area. He also chairs the Lord Mayor of Birmingham's charities and champions causes like Birmingham's Dogs Home. His journey is all about resilience, reinvention, and making a real impact through storytelling, leadership, and giving back. So, without further ado, let's get on with the pod.
A lovely intro. Thank you so much. That was really nice, man. I mean, sometimes, how do I follow that?
Lovely to have you on the podcast, PJ.
Thanks.
I'm wondering to start with if you could give us a little bit of an idea of your background, what at the moment is a day in the life of PJ Ellis like?
Well, it starts with strong coffee. First and foremost, I suppose I'm a dad, aren't I? So that's the start of my day. You know, the kids are getting up, getting them into school, and that's an effort in itself. Mm-hmm. You know, some people might find out very soon what that might look like, and it's the best thing I've ever done. And I think, bizarrely, I'm 46 now, look a lot older, I know, but I've always looked older, to be fair. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, you haven't aged." Well, I don't know whether that's a compliment, because that probably means I've looked like this since I was 16, But,
21 for life.
Yeah, exactly. But I've done so many things. I think it might come out in this podcast in relation to priorities and stuff. Mm-hmm. When you innovate and you're an entrepreneur, whatever we're calling it, is that there were times where I've missed out on my kids, and that is my priority now. But so it always starts with my kids, right? Mm-hmm. And I have some non-negotiables about what that looks like in the week. But my day's pretty varied. I don't know what we call it now. People call it fractional careers, portfolio careers. It's not as linear as I thought it would be when I started out. So to go back a little bit, I suppose, lock the doors. Yeah. I suppose my first foray, is that the word? Soiree, whatever. My first sort of job was in the legal sort of, after sort of part-time jobs growing up. Yeah. Work ethic, it was always there. My mum and dad were very, very clear in that they wanted me to have a job, not because they needed me to earn money. Well, they did actually. They just thought that the social skills that you need to navigate this world, you could get through jobs. And with hindsight, they were right. Yeah. But my first proper job was a lawyer, and I fell into that because 6 stone ago, I always thought I was going to be a footballer. I was told I was going to be a footballer. Right. I played at a decent level, all that sort of stuff. I mean, my mates say that I never did, but I did. And that never happened. Like most people's dreams, you have the injury and whatever, you get released and nothing happens. But bizarrely, some people might not believe this, but I was a really socially awkward kid, and I still am, quite anxious person. And because of that, and being at a footballing school, when I wasn't playing football, which was my safe space, I sort of often would navigate to the library, to read, I just enjoyed learning. And off the back of that, my grades, I was at a comprehensive school, straight A student sort of thing. And they were like, right, do law. That was the careers advice. It was like either become a diver or be a lawyer. Right. And at the time, LA Law, Ali McBeal, all those were on the telly, and it looked good. So yeah, I fell into law. Did that for about 8 years. So I had to do all my degree, my law school, my training contract.
It's no small feat.
Yeah, it wasn't
getting that far in the career as well.
Big legal energy until I started doing it. I didn't really enjoy it.
Fair enough.
And since then, I've done a number of things, as you said earlier. I've had a marketing business. I've had a sweets business, an online sweet shop. I've had an online cycling top shop. I've done loads of different things. Some good, some very bad. Some I've made mistakes quickly. Some mistakes have been, taking me a lot longer. So all experience, right? Yeah. All lessons.
All mistakes are good. Yeah, that's how I see it as well. You have to learn from it.
I suspect we'll talk about this now. Today, I really do think that entrepreneurship is, a lot of it is leaning into, making calculated risks, don't get me wrong, but understanding, when and where and how to fail. And hindsight's a wonderful thing, right? But equally, if you are starting out now, listen to people who have got that perspective and learn from it. But yeah, so since then, I had a marketing business. I'm now working at the BBC as a presenter, which is good fun. But I've also got like the family business that we're growing. It's a mortgage business called Mortgage Bab. Right, Bab? You see where that came from, and that's going really well. I've got the Wit and Grit podcast. Yeah. We're probably moving that into like a consultancy business as well. And I do quite a lot of work for charity, which I really, really enjoy.
Yeah. No, fabulous.
So the day's pretty all there, here, there and everywhere.
A few fingers in a few pies from the sounds of it.
I mean, you know what? I've got to get better at that. I really do. I suspect that my time management isn't as good as it could be, but equally, I've got better boundaries in place now. So as long as I'm doing things that light me up, bring it on.
Yeah, I suppose that kind of leans into one of what my next question was going to be, was I suppose making that decision. You kind of started to talk about it there, but making that decision instead of coming from a law or remaining in that law sector and industry, the decision to become a little bit more entrepreneurial and, go into the media and the marketing side of things. Was there anything there along the way that was like a key decision maker to be like, oh yeah, I know I'm not really feeling law anymore. What was it that kind of made you change your mind?
My wife.
There we go.
I was burnt out in an industry that didn't light me up. I just didn't enjoy it. I fell into it. I chased the money. I was paid a lot of money to work at the firms that I was working at that age. I had done a bit of reality TV as well before. Did a bit of Big Brother just for a laugh, as you do, just to throw that onto the CV. So that was after that. But yeah, it was. I was just wasn't the person that my wife married. I don't know whether you've ever had the misfortune of this, but I had like proper Monday, man. I'd be watching Antiques Roadshow thinking, I don't want Monday to come. Yeah. Anxiety going into work, doing things that I just wasn't, there was no purpose. I was chasing the book, which was great, don't get me wrong. It was affording us a real nice life, nice holidays, nice house, all that. But it was my wife. She just said, look, just something needs to change. I'd sort of fell into charity work because we'd had a baby. Say we, my wife did all the hard work, but I'd become a dad and, I'd found that heart that I never thought I had, start crying at John Lewis adverts and stuff. And I stumbled across this cancer charity, poor lad, 8 years old, Harry Mosley. He had a brain tumour. He was going to die. It was, it was palliative care, and he was doing so many brilliant things, and it just blew me away. And I just wanted to do something. So at that time, I'd got into that charity space, helping others, fundraising. It was voluntary. I wasn't making any money from it, but it was like the best job I've ever had. And even though I wasn't getting paid. So I started to think, actually, something must be better out there. So it was my wife. And it was something now with hindsight I have that I would tell anyone to do. When it wasn't just my wife waking up going, right, leave this job and find another. I mean, it wasn't far off that, to be fair. My wife is very entrepreneurial without her knowing. She's very like, but less entrepreneurial, more like she understands what she wants in life. And that is peace and family and time. And I was having none of that, despite the fact that the paycheck was good, all the other stuff we were sacrificing. So a bit of homework that I give most people I talk to about this, certainly now with the ability to be able to reflect, is that I just looked at my own backstory and I thought, hang on, this is what I've done today. This is what I have done. This is what I could do. And that started dictating to me what I wanted to do, the confidence to give me those, the proverbial sort of, I won't swear, but the oomph to go and do something else. And it is that, you're the best in the world at being yourself. And if you start looking at your own backstory, that'll inspire you. There'll always be those moments, all those people that sort of help you along the way. And my wife was definitely that person, and I owe her everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Shout out to PJ's wife.
Yeah, she'll be listening. All right, Carl, that's the brownie point done. She's wicked.
I think we've had the guests say similar things about there being like a particular role model or a particular person in your life where there's something that they've said that's inspiring and you didn't realise that was a career pathway or a job title or something that you wanted to do, but just having one conversation or a few conversations with that inspiring or that person that changes your mind that really can change your career path in that way.
Well, you've nailed it there. Conversation. You know, I would say that I don't know what this generation. I think I do, because one of the reasons why I set the Wit and Grit stuff up was off the back of me and Andy having kids that we were worried about what the future looked like. You know, have they got the social skills that I would say I have and I've had to work hard at to live in this world that we all live in now. And actually a lot of that comes from conversation, networking. Yeah. So when we'd made that decision, you know, the media, the marketing, all the stuff that followed, there was no like Bible for it to say, right, next move will be owning your own digital marketing company, setting up a sweet shop online, selling retro cycling, you know, getting it delivered in from Belgium and New York and all this sort of stuff. It was just more about having conversations with people you trusted, people that you know, and not, you know, you're not asking them to marry you. Like, you know, it's networking in the sense that you're just having normal conversations that resonate with other people. You'll connect with those people and you'll learn so much from those people. Because a lot of these people that you look at and you admire and you follow and you think they've got it all sorted, they haven't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
People put on a good facade a lot of the time, don't they?
We're all blagging it. You know, we're all faking it until we make it to a degree. And I think that the conversations that kick up the backside for my wife encouraged then enabled me to start to think, actually, there's so much more out there. Yeah. Because I mean, if I was in a law firm now, I'd probably say that there's so much more now in law firms that you can do. Yeah. You know, so I could have probably been a business development manager or a marketing manager within a law firm. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know whether the opportunities are there or maybe, as I said, maybe people weren't as open as they are now. I mean, we didn't even have social media. Like, you know, it's black and white. Yeah. The wheel was square. But
that's someone's job, isn't it now? Like the social media manager within a law firm.
Well, how exciting is that now for entrepreneurs where, you know, literally my kid, he's 14 now. His first job will be, no doubt, a role that doesn't exist now. Yeah, a job title we don't know about. Prompt engineers we're talking about now, and that's old hat now already, you know. Prompt engineers at ChatGPT. Nah. You want cultures, architects within AI space? Like what? But it's exciting, isn't it?
No, really, really exciting. I suppose for our students then, and given your background and the knowledge you might have, how would you say students can use, if they're not necessarily going to be an entrepreneur straight away, they might not know that they're going to be an entrepreneur like yourself. It might be something they do in the future. Yeah. How can they use early careers roles that they go into, their first couple of jobs, to practice innovation and entrepreneurial thinking? I don't know if there was anything in the first few roles that you did that you began to use that kind of entrepreneurial mindset and innovation that you might be able to give students tips on.
I think for me, I think what's really important sometimes is to understand what, you know, people have different opinions on what entrepreneurship is and innovation. For me, it's not necessarily about always setting up loads of businesses and, you know, failing fast and chasing the unicorn dream, because we see all that with the Gymsharks, all these brilliant brands that have done, you know, people think it's success overnight. It's not. You know, that overnight success is 10, 12 years of graft and risks and losses and learns and ups and downs. But my advice to any student that's listening to this, you know, get into jobs as quickly as you can. Get into business, get into conversations as quickly as you can, because I don't want to encourage mistakes, but you can make mistakes. You know, you can test things really quickly. You know, you imagine now, you know, you asked me at the start what I do, and we joke about this portfolio career. There aren't many people now, I don't think. When I started as a lawyer, there are a lot of my friends now that are still lawyers, right? They've been a lawyer for 20 years or whatever, and they've got the big pension and all that sort of stuff. I suspect now moving forwards, there'll be more like project approaches to work. So like people will have jobs for 4 years and they'll move into something else for the next 4 years, 5 years. So you imagine someone starting out now at 18, you can have 4 or 5 of them and still be my age. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, don't let whatever you're doing now define you to a point. Let it define you, but don't worry about it trapping you. Whatever you're doing now, it doesn't mean you're going to work in the post office in 40 years' time. Yeah. So when I was working at the post office, like before I went to law school, you know, I may have thought, and with the greatest respect, no issue working at the post office, but I never thought that would be a career of mine. But if I did think, I'm locked into this now, I would never have turned up. Yeah. But actually turning up and working at the post office was brilliant because I was talking to people every day. I was getting the confidence. All these old ladies were giving me Kit Kats and stuff. It was amazing.
That's a good perk.
Wicked. I had a goatee beard, man. Oh my word, that's the only regret. But it pushed me into this place where I could learn about how to improve my communication skills, my confidence. How do you look at someone in the eye? Do you need to look at someone in the eye?
Yeah.
You'll probably say, I'm not brilliant at that. So yeah, I think that would be my advice, in that get into those situations where you can ask questions quickly, and almost like experiment, dare I say. This is why I think networking is really good, because you can turn up to an event with people that you might not meet again and test a product, an idea, a platform. Because you might say it to 4 people and they'll go, that sounds absolutely pants.
Yeah.
Or it already exists. And all that market research you've saved, all that money that you're going to put into products or into marketing or whatever it might be, you've saved. So I think I would jump into it with 2 feet, and as quickly as you can, because the real world isn't necessarily sitting behind LinkedIn and, well, it's not for everybody, building technical platforms. A lot of it does come back to pressing the flesh. So the quicker you can do that, the better.
Yeah, getting in front of people, having those conversations.
Yeah.
And like you say, it is a skill in itself, being able to just drum up that conversation and get to know someone and build rapport. It's another, really important skill as well.
Yeah.
With a lot of this.
Even more so now, mate. Honestly, Christy, I think genuinely it's even, we call them soft skills, the hard skills. But actually, in a world now where we've had lockdown, people aren't connecting physically as often as they were. I think it's necessary for mental health, but also more businesses now are going back to the old school way of communicating, developing products, placemaking. Can't do that all online. So I think the quicker we are around that space again, the physical space, the better. I really do. For a number of reasons.
Yeah, no, it does get me excited being able to be in front of people as well. And that's not exciting for everyone. And I think sometimes it's being able to understand the comfort zone. And there's the saying of nothing grows in the comfort zone, and trying to really push yourself out of that potentially.
I think what I say to my kids is that without them knowing, and I do sound like my parents when they used to say that to me, without them knowing, they now live in a world whereby, they might not want to go and connect with people, but they've also got that security in knowing that businesses and projects and whatever it might be are more willing and supportive of flexible working, remote working. So you've got the best of both worlds. You really have.
Definitely.
It's not like the old, I suspect now the world isn't 9 to 5 in the office. If you're late, you're going to be nailed. Well, certainly that wouldn't be the workplace I'd want to work in.
No.
More flexible, more different ways of working, more quicker ways of communicating. And, you can lean into all those and be more rounded. I mean, I wish the first time I set my career, what was the first business I set up? I've had loads, but there was no emails.
Yeah.
That's to send a letter. I mean, who sends a letter nowadays? You know what I mean? You have to wait for a reply and stuff, or, organise a meeting, and the meeting took about 3 weeks. And so, don't forget, the world that we live in is amazing. It can be draining, it can feel overwhelming, but if you balance the way you work properly and that suits you, and be really honest about what that looks like, because self-care isn't selfish.
Yes.
It's it is selfish, but it's the right sort of selfish. You've got to look after yourself before you pour into others' cups, and the world is more accommodating in that sense, and that's really pretty exciting.
No, I was going to say we're definitely in a world where that is more acceptable than potentially it has been in the past.
100%.
Sure.
I remember I used to try and blag a few working at home days at the law firms. They're like, you're having a laugh. Because I'm just going to watch Antiques Roadshow all day or whatever, or Bargain Hunt. Maybe they do that when they work at home. I don't know, but it's a great place to be an entrepreneur at the moment. I think this world, I really do.
Definitely. And for some students, then again, kind of thinking about in those first roles that they're in, whether it's a graduate role or an internship, is there anything you would say to them to help them? Or I suppose the question is, how can a student think like an entrepreneur even if they don't have their own business yet? Is there any way that you would say, yes, you can start thinking in this way, and that would help you in the future maybe?
Yeah, I think for me, an entrepreneur, fixes things maybe, like looks for solutions, looks for different ways of doing things. And I think you don't need to have a business or want to have a business to be having an entrepreneurial mindset. You might want to do something quicker. You might want to install a different process. You want to challenge the way or behaviours that they see in front of them. And I think what I would say is to try and have the confidence, if that's the right word, to ask questions, to be innovative. You know, they used to say, like, you know, as a kid, oh, PJ's ever so inquisitive. But no question's a bad question, isn't it? Because you're just getting more information.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, you're not questioning them as in like their political opinions or stance or anything. As long as you're not aggressive and you're not racist or rude or, you know, there are the right times to say things. I would actually welcome that as a business owner. I would welcome, you know, your team to ask questions and just to make sure, because you in a way, we haven't got all the answers. Like businessmen, like owners and entrepreneurs, we haven't got the answers. If anything, we're going to be hiring people that are so much better than us. So don't be like restricted in like the way you think, what you do, and just always think, is there a better way of doing things?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, without like losing sleep, you know, you don't want to take to, my mind's like the most busiest of minds and it can take me. So, I mean, I used to worry about the pain of childbirth. I don't have a womb, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so it was, you know, make sure like
that's an insight into the mind.
Honestly,
the mind.
I genuinely think it was because I was quite an anxious kid, but I was the way you consumed information then.
Yeah.
I mean, I fear how much information you can consume now because, you know, we look at this overwhelm and these kids, like, you know, they're stressed out, they're just wired into the matrix. That worries me a little bit. But equally, there's so much information out there, you know, just be a little bit challenging in that information that you see that on social media, and equally what you see within the workplace and the world. And I think that the more people that are a little bit more challenging, not contrarian just for the sake of it, but just inquisitive, will create better conversations, better places of work, better projects, better outcomes, and I think the world will be a better place.
Yeah, I know, I totally agree with what you're saying. I think as a student or a recent graduate going into a business, it can be quite intimidating to potentially give that opinion. And, you know, we have the phrase like imposter syndrome, but I think it's trying to remember as a person early in your career that you very much have got the job for the right reason. You have been employed for some reason. I'd like to think that they like something that you were able to show them in that process. So, you know, like you were saying about giving your opinion on something you would change, it's being confident in, like, you're allowed to have that opinion as well.
That's what you're there for, you know. If it's based on data and facts and, you know, research, just say it. You know, and even if it isn't, you know, if you think it's a good idea, imposter syndrome, right? It's a brilliant one. You know, I think the phrase was coined in the 1970s. I think they called it imposterism at the time, because now syndrome is like, seems like a bad thing, right? Everyone's got it, right? And a lot of it's off the base of you thinking people have higher expectations of you, if that makes sense, because you are confident of your own ability, but you think people would expect more. So just turn up, be yourself. Like, as I said, like, no one can be better than you at being yourself. And I think the quicker you are that, the more authentic you are, the better conversations you are, the less of a albatross around your neck you have, you're more free in how you do things and how you communicate. And I think that is the challenge, but also equally the opportunity. That these kids, I say kids, that's terrible, isn't it? Like, I ain't that old.
Young people.
But young people, you know, I think back yourselves. You know, we come into this world on our own. We leave it on our own, unfortunately. And we experience so many bits and challenges and love. And we just get those scars, man. Get those scars. Just enjoy it. And I do think that comes with having that confidence. It's not easy, don't get me wrong. But there's also, right, you could play, it's a nice little trick, right? The old boys in most businesses, and I class myself as one of them, right? Everyone loves talking about themselves, right? The good old days, the challenges, the ups and downs. If I had a new team member come to me and say, tell me all your mistakes, tell me all the lessons that I need to learn from you. You tell me everything I need to avoid so I can get to where you are quicker than you did. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. But have my perspective.
Yeah.
Have it all. It's cost me a fortune. It's cost me 10 nervous breakdowns, it's cost me like whatever it might be in counselling. But you can have all that for free.
Yeah.
And as I said, it just comes back to that ability to, I do think it comes from passion, if I'm honest. Passion in getting out your own way. In the sense that, look, please, 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 if you take nothing away from this conversation, if you're listening, if you do struggle with a bit of imposter syndrome, hear this, right? No one cares about you as much as you think they do.
Yeah,
right?
it's very true.
And take that the right way.
Yeah.
Right. I was running a half marathon once, right? And I thought nothing of it. And I was doing it, but I did it in a 9-foot green inflatable alien, right? And two of my mates did exactly the same. Thought nothing of it, just did it. But I was stressed out of my mind. Am I going to look stupid? Are the batteries going to run out? Do my legs look little in this? All that. My legs look little in everything. And I was doing a talk on something a couple of years ago, and I found that photograph. And just what hit me in a moment was there was 3 people running through a town. It was absolutely jam-packed, spectators, people running in 9-foot inflatable alien suits. And not one person was looking at us.
Yeah.
Not one person, because everyone's in their own stress loops. Everyone's thinking about their own time. Everyone's thinking about where their car is parked, what dinner they're having tonight. So if you can get out your own way and couple that with a little bit of confidence and passion and the ability to just go that little bit, step into that little discomfort area where opportunities, sitting right behind, and get stuck in, be inquisitive, world's your oyster.
Yeah, no, very, very good point. And I think the whole being able to accept that no one does care as much about you as yourself. So it's trying to.
What's the worst going to happen?
Yeah.
What's the worst going to happen? As long as you're not nasty, as I said, or vitriolic, or going out your way just to be a pain. Entrepreneurism is about trying to find new ways. And you're only going to find new ways or better ways or things that suit you, whatever it be, business, life. You can be an entrepreneur or have an entrepreneurial mindset in the way you shop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, convenience, am I doing it too often? Should I do it less? Should I do it online? Should I do it offline? Should I, whatever it might be. Should I pay by cash? There's so many different things that involve innovative thinking. And I just think, I think a lot of it comes down to not really caring. Make the mistakes. Learn. The only way you're going to learn is to understand that you've got to get out your own way, make that mistake. I could literally, I did a really bad example the other day. I was sort of saying it to my 10-year-old daughter because she started playing football, and most fathers would say this, but I know she's a good player, right? And she can't get it out of her head that she doesn't want to hurt someone and people are looking at her and, oh, do I have to wear the shorts? All this. It's bizarre, right? Yeah. But I understand it, because I've been there. I said, Minnie, listen, we're in this coffee shop now. I could start singing at the top of my voice and no one would care. Sure, Daddy, don't please. I said, I'm going to do it. Start singing. Everyone looks at me, don't they? So they didn't prove my point. Yeah. But equally, even though they looked at me, they don't care. No. They got on with the day. They didn't go home going, oh, well, they may have said it, but it hasn't dictated their life because they've moved straight back into their stress loops.
Exactly.
So just, we're here for a finite time. I read this brilliant thing the other day, right? And this is really profound and scary. I've gone through a bit of grief at the moment, lost mum, and it's made me look at life very differently. Like, I've always wanted to play with purpose, but now I'm able to play with purpose and perspective. And I was religious, probably more spiritual now, I don't know. But there was this little excerpt of a book, and they said basically, right, you are it's your soul really that lives, yeah. And the soul is just, and your human body is just a vessel, right? So you're sent onto this earth, right, to experience it, right, to get your scars, to lean into the uncomfortable, to go networking, to go and talk to that person that you never speak to before, because you've got to report back with all those lessons and learns to this other universe, right, to make the whole world, or whatever we're calling it over there, the upside down world, or whatever stranger things call it, a better place. So whilst we're here, if that's something you really believe in, and I'm not saying I do, but I'm just using it as a concept sort of thing, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Just go and ask those questions that you want. But I think also underpin it with the why. why are you an entrepreneur? Because if it is to make millions and millions of pounds quickly, I'll tell you now, that doesn't happen to many people.
No.
To many people. And if it does, I would say, how do you define success? That's another thing as well. Because initially it was for me, my watch, my cars, my house, whatever. I would give all of those back now for a second with my mum. Genuinely, a second with my mum. So that success that I used to think was success, the material stuff, means nothing. So I think if the quicker you can get to that, why I'm doing it, how lovely that is.
Yeah, the purpose behind it is really important as a driver.
Yeah,
definitely.
I want to get this solution to work quicker so I can spend more time with my family. Wow. Yeah. And when that thing's happening at the end, that you are actually spending more time with your family, you can tick a box, think, actually, I'm doing something good here.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important.
No, I love that. Really like that. You've talked about it a little bit already with networking being a really, really important thing for students to get involved with. It can obviously be quite intimidating to put yourself in those scenarios, as we've said. But I suppose, is there any kind of reiterations you'd like to add to that networking, or, what would you say to a student who has booked on to attend their first networking event? How can they start building those connections when they turn up to something like that?
Okay, great question, because I think networking is really important, but equally the most scariest thing you can do. And I've got a few tips from my many years of networking. I would say the quicker you can have normal conversations, the more impactful those sessions will be. Because a lot of people will turn up to these networking events asking the other person to marry them. So, hi, Christy. You've got a marketing business. Do you need SEO? Yeah. What? Mate, what are you on about? How much nicer would it be? It's like, oh, Christy, I see that you're into football. Who do you support, mate? And those normal conversations, I think, are more memorable. They resonate. You'll remember that person that you connected with. And I think actually, if you I don't know, maybe networking needs to be reframed. Is it socialising?
Yeah, I like your perspective on that, because I think it's the pressure of, oh my God, okay, I'm going to the next networking event. What have I got to get out of it? Like you say, if it's my first business or my business idea, you're setting yourself goals to have, these 5 amazing connections, which is really, really good to have that ambition. But also, like you say, bringing it back to basis of, let's just socialise. Yeah. You might build a really interesting connection that has nothing to do with the business that you want to go into, but who's to say in 2 weeks, 3 months, 4 months time that really good connection you've made, because you now know what team 100%. You support, is going to lead to
100%.
A really good conversation down the line.
It happens all the time. I will have literally this morning, you have an email, hey PJ, X, Y and Z met you last week, thinking of this, can we do this and this? So you've got to be a nice person as well, I think, but I genuinely think networking is brilliant for a number of things. One, and I think this is just because we're talking about innovation and entrepreneurial mindset and being an entrepreneur, building businesses, whatever. Just test your ideas. Yeah. Literally, if you went around the room, so now an elevator pitch. Hi, I'm PJ. I'm building X, Y, and Z to help A, B, and C. Right? Okay, I sort of understand that. What do you think? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. My mate did that and he failed after 2 days, and they do that already, and so you get that little research piece, and maybe that could be your little agenda. Just don't think about coming out with £1 million contracts, because I don't think that happens. And what I'm trying to do more of now is networking. For me, used to be, buying a table, going onto a black and just getting absolutely smashed. Which, don't get me wrong, it's brilliant.
There's some connections involved there.
Don't get me wrong. That, you can party and go to all the awards, which is great fun. But yeah, just some of the, I think I'd definitely do more networking, 100%. Maybe connect to 1 or 2 specific networking. Maybe it's a chamber, maybe it's a university, maybe whatever. It could be a podcast. It doesn't have to be with other people, ironically. I know it probably does, but you can network with people that you're listening to, if that makes sense. Because you could LinkedIn, it's so quick now to get hold of people. You can ask them a question. Hey, PJ, just listen to your podcast. I was thinking of asking you this, this, and this. So you network through LinkedIn. You don't have to be face-to-face if you're really nervous. I think face-to-face is good if you can get around it. But yeah, you can ask yourself them questions. And you set yourself those like little, what's the word? Like goals, right? I want to talk to 3 or 4 people. But just try and relax. Got a tip, right? This one, I had Emma Neal, actually, from Aston University.
Yes.
Her husband, right, used to hate going to networking. Despise it, man, because all the things we've just spoke about, that pressure of bringing something away, not knowing what to say. Remember, these people are also feeling exactly what you're feeling. There won't be that many people in there that love networking. Yeah. If there's that person on your own, go and talk to them immediately. But what he did, Emma Neal's husband, he used to go dead early. So say if it was like 7 o'clock, you turn at 6 o'clock, right? People are putting it up, like the stand up and that, thinking, who's this? So I'm here for the networking event. They don't mind, all right. And then when the first people started to come, they used to think he was organising the event. So they were really like, all right, mate, how are you? What's this all about? And like they were almost more relaxed because they were feeling like he was going to welcome him into the thing rather than he's there to be networked,
Yeah.
And I think it's really important. I think it's important. I think it is. But you don't have to worry too much. You don't have to be at every networking event with the same people saying the same thing. Be strategic. Go to events that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Go to an event that you're listening to a speaker about a topic that you love. How cool is that? Because if you get nothing else out of it, you'll learn from them.
Yeah.
So I think it's key. I think set yourself realistic. What is it? Smart
targets,
specific, measurable, all that. And then, if that's your endorphins or, if that ticks the boxes, then at the end, if you've got 3 business cards, if they still exist, or you've told 3 people that you love Birmingham City or whatever it might be, ask for the affiliate list.
Yes.
I know that sounds proper old school, but some people share that, and there might be Christy Brooks on there. I think, that's the lady I really want to talk to. And you go over, you've got a bit of a line. Don't ask her to marry her, proverbially, and just get to know them and see where it goes.
Yeah. I think as well for me, when I first started going to networking events, I'd always go with someone as well. And it's not necessarily, you don't have to be going for the same reasons or they might not want to actually go along, but it is that kind of just having someone else in the first instance, if it's the first event that you go into, that you just feel like you've got someone else to bounce off. If, like you say, you're looking at one person across from the room, there's 2 of you then that can go up and it's a 3-way conversation.
That's a really nice idea.
It's a little bit different, isn't it?
That's a great idea. The challenge is if you do that all the time and you only speak to them, you might as well go to the pub, to a point, but equally you're getting seen as well. Yeah. So people will approach you, so that's a really nice tip actually. I didn't think of that.
No, definitely. So again, trying to bring back to our students and graduates who might be interviewing or applying for jobs. Entrepreneurship, like we've said, it's not necessarily about starting a business, and innovation isn't necessarily about changing the world. But is there anything that you would say to a student, or if you was making an application and you want to show your entrepreneurship? Yeah. I suppose it's quite hard to get down on a piece of paper a lot of the time, but is there anything that if you were looking at someone's CV and they were going to come and join Wit and Grit, I know you've had people come and join you after having conversations with them. Are there any kind of skills there that you identify with straight away and see as, you're the type of person?
All right. So I think gone are the days where you've seen people like print out their business card like as big as like your house and have that delivered and stuff like that. And there's all those innovative ways where people have taken out billboard spaces and busked on like busy high streets. That's all good fun, right? I think the irony here is that actually to be entrepreneurial and innovative within like interviews or meetings or applications, I think it's not necessarily been like wacky. It's probably been more real. Like real authentic. So I think what stands out for me nowadays are people that are well prepared. So I think there's a lot of people I've met where I think probably that they're probably like frustrated at, they've made 10 applications that day and like 9 of them have been sifted out by AI and stuff. So they're probably just like, but know the business you're applying to, know who the person you meet. And it's just that little nugget. I saw you've got a daughter and a son, PJ, like, They've done a little bit of research without knowing my address and like my inside leg.
There's
like,
so far you can
stuff
take
like
that.
Do you know what I mean? I'll tell you that, it's only 28 inches. I've only got little legs. But yeah, I think that research is really important. You can tell a mile off. I think honesty in the sense that if I ask a question and you don't know, you say like, well, I don't know, but I'd like to learn that. I also think I quite like video. So like you know, Loom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can jump on a Loom thing and there's small differentiators, you know, the free tools whereby the challenge, I suppose, for employers are, you know, there's not that much opportunity. We need to create more opportunity for these young people. So we're getting loads and loads and loads of CVs, and you've got to find a way of getting through those. And actually, therefore, you're looking for things to stand out. So those small differentiators, if it's a video, instantly I can listen, hear, see. Oh, wow. I mean, your video that I'm editing, you know, it's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Quick one take.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do that, but you wouldn't be put on a spot. You could do it until it's right.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good. I think the way you frame the CV might be like an innovative way of doing it, not necessarily doing it as a back of a, you know, looking like a trump card or something like that. It could be, you know, instead of putting your photo at the top of your name, maybe start with your experiences. You know, I've set up a little charity bike ride, or I walk, you know, I do the park run every day, or whatever it might be. That's sort of like bringing you to life. So it's not just Christy Brooks, 3 A's or whatever it was. You know,
I wish.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's 10 a penny, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I could say I've got a double first from Oxford. No one's looked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was only a first, but hey ho. But no, it's, yeah, I think honesty and authenticity.
I was going to say authenticity.
Face
I
to
love that.
face.
Yeah.
The best answer, right? I was hiring once, me and my business partner, for probably the most, well, it wasn't the most expensive role because that was somebody else, but it was a big salary, big salary developer. And we asked him a technical question. Neither me and him knew. So it was just something we'd probably asked another developer. And we said, what would happen? What would you do if X, Y, Z, da, 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 da? And he looked at us and he said, just ask Google. And I was like, fair play. Fair play. What an honest question. What an honest answer. That's what I'd do.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. Go and look on YouTube, you know. So, and actually, I thought, bang on. You know, that honesty, to be able to have that confidence. There was, I don't know whether this is true, right? But Winston Churchill apparently, right, in an exam, don't know what exam it was, the question was, describe confidence, right? And he put, this is it, or something like that. This is confidence, full stop, like, as in, like, and he got an A star, whatever. Well, an A stars back then, but you know what I mean? And I think that the authenticity, that piece of that confidence in going, look, I'm just a normal person and not trying to be someone, you know, trying to lean all into the buzzwords and all that. You hear that all the time. You're probably there for the right reasons anyway, because they've seen something in you. So be yourself, and that's going to differentiate. So that's a key. I'd hate to live this life and be on my deathbed, hopefully at 96 or whatever, and someone says to me, you know what, Paige, no one liked you, man. I'd accept that if I'd been myself, but can you imagine if all that life you've tried to be someone else and someone still doesn't like you for doing that? Rubbish, isn't it? So just be yourself, and you'll stand out regardless. But research, try something new. What's the worst that's going to happen? Try video. You know, I know this is cringe, right? This is cringe. But anyone listening now, if you want to go and apply for my old business called Lightbox, say it's called Brooks Limited, yeah? Drop the owner of Brooks Limited a LinkedIn video message. Why not?
I've seen someone do
Hey,
this
Christy,
this week,
it's PJ. This is proper cringe. I'm just walking to Starbucks to get a coffee, bab. But I've just dropped a CV into your thing. Yeah, I want a meeting.
Yeah.
Can you do next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Who am I going to talk to my business partner about on the night? So,
and I think like what springs to mind with that as well, which I think is quite relevant with applications and CVs and things at the moment, is there's a lot of focus or students potentially using AI to support them.
Yeah.
And it's great for like the idea generation and starting with a template and getting something on the paper to start with, but trying to find that authenticity and bring that through as much of yourself as possible. Yeah. Rather than the AI is definitely going to help you to stand out. And like you say with the video, then
you see a
that is you,
I think it would be. It's not going to work for everyone. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying to not be yourself. That's what you have to be in the end. If you're quiet, reserved. I'm not saying pretend you're a loudmouth or whatever. But yeah, just be honest. You could even say, look, yeah, I don't want to be lost within the ChatGPT CVs.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to show you who I really am. I've got this one little opportunity. My wife, right, old school. She had a brilliant career. Had a brilliant career in radio. Yeah, 10 years. And I said, like, you know, when I first met her, I said, how'd you get into that? And she just knocked on doors. Like, I got rejected. You know, she didn't have any radio media qualifications. She just thought, I want to do it. I'm going to Heart FM. I'm knocking on every door. And so she got the standard job as the tea lady, and she knocked on another door. No, knocked on another door. Just know that if you knock on enough doors, and that is the opportunity that you want behind that door will open. It's all these no's is just a not yet, right?
Yeah.
So just try. Just try.
Oh, if you don't I like that. All these no's are just not yet.
Yeah, 100%. It is. If you want to be a lawyer, you might think you want to work at Brooks Limited, and you know, so try a video. If she says no, try Ellis Limited. He might say no. You'll end up being a lawyer, and you'll probably be at the right business for you at that time because you're being yourself. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know whether I answered the question, but I'm sure we have somewhere or another.
No, there's definitely some really good tips in there around the networking side of things as well. I think one of the questions that I've got down here is, how important is it for employers to see entrepreneurial thinking in graduates today? And I suppose with this, the resilience that you were talking about there is obviously a really important thing as well. But do you think it's quite an important factor for a graduate to be entrepreneurial in some way when they're coming into a business? Or
I do. Because I think it comes back to that knowing what you want in your world. You know, and that. I'm not saying you're going to go into a business and like completely change it so it suits your agenda, but I think any business leader worth their weight will want their team to be developed as quickly as possible. And that development needs to be flexible in the sense that it won't look the same for everybody. You know, some people might want to come in a bit later. So have those difficult conversations as early as you can. If you're a gym bod, right? If you get if a place of work is going to get the most out of Christy Brooks because she's coming into work pumped up, you know, absolutely swole or whatever the kids say after doing all your weights, and that means you're 10 minutes late, but you're happy to work 10 minutes the other side, have those conversations. And I think that is the entrepreneurialism side of things, the innovative way of understanding what is the best way of working with me. And if you're honest with a business and say, listen, I don't know what your normal way of working is, and I'm not, as I said, you're not going to like pull the rug from like big traditional firms, but equally they'll open their eyes. You know, that you might teach them something or give them an idea. I think, oh, actually, you know what? I bet there's loads of other people there that would love to come in a bit late to miss the traffic. Why spend an hour in the traffic if you could spend an hour in the gym, get in a bit later, completely pumped, and get so much more out of you, sort of thing, if that makes sense. I'm not saying people should be commodities, but you want, and you know, these 8-hour days, come on, you can do your day in 2-3 hours. You know, so if you can get someone absolutely maxed out, effective, and you know what that feels like, I would say that is being entrepreneurial. I really do think that respecting yourself, this vessel to perform as effectively as it can, I think that is really innovative. And I think leaders would love to hear from people who've got the confidence to say, this is how you get the best out of me.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think my next question is around standing out, but I feel like we have talked a little bit about this already. So for our students that have got kind of limited experience, we've talked about the video and being able to send that to someone on LinkedIn and that helping them to stand out. But is there anything else that you would suggest would help them stand out while making the use of those kind of innovation and entrepreneurial skills?
So this is probably a paradox, because like I'm saying, time is the most expensive commodity you have, and bizarrely you give away it so freely sometimes to things that don't serve you. But actually, if you do have free time and you are passionate about something, there is a way of standing out, and that is to set up a podcast about something that you love, to record videos about the stuff that you love, use social platforms to spread love and good messages, support a local charity, volunteer, you know, go and learn an instrument, you know. And I think those measurements, if that's the way, of how you want to live your life, will then not give you gravitas, but will help in how other people evaluate your application, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, you play the piano. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I learnt myself. Wow, how did you learn yourself? YouTube. Fair enough. That guy knows what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Oh, you volunteer at the local food bank. Yeah, when I've got time, I've always wanted to put something back. Gives me purpose. Wow, she's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying doing it for the wrong reasons, but what a lovely way of growing and standing out, if that's how we're putting it. Mm-hmm. I think since I lost mum, the challenge I always was, I'm so scared to talk about her because 18 months on it, I've had my cries already today, and no doubt I'll have them on the way home. But I was fearful of talking to other people about it. But I've set up a little space on YouTube where I just do 30-second little look lads. Basically, it's called Mommy's Boy. It's a platform for blokes who have lost their mum. Couldn't find any other platform that is dedicated to that niche. And the irony is, when I released it, it's just been crazy. Like I had girlfriends that used to take the mickey out of me, calling me a mommy's boy growing up, because I told my mum I loved her every day. I'm so glad I did. So I want to turn that derogatory term into something positive. I'm proud of my mommy's boy. I'll always be a mommy's boy. And the response has been great. But what that's allowed me to do is to find an output to talk about my grief in a space that's safe, in a space that resonates with others. Mm-hmm. And I think whilst I find something that gives me relief, it helps others. And dare I say, without not blowing my own trumpet, the question was, how do you stand out? Mm-hmm. I'm standing out. So actually, if you're playing with purpose, you can get so much out of doing something slightly different. Yeah. As long as you don't burn out. Yeah. There's only so much we can do, right? But yeah, that's what I would suggest to the world now. I'd love my son. Literally, he's going to hate me even saying this, but he's well into like manga and like, Japanese culture and all this sort of stuff. And he's absolute, knows it all. And I said, mate, just jump on a pod, man. Just set up a pod, start talking. It's like Ramesh, that's his. He's into it all. Yeah. Oh my God, he's got this. I don't even know what they're called. He's got a Jiu-Jitsu Kaizen top on and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, mate, maybe this is like. So just you've got all these tools. Yeah. Just start something.
It's definitely like not being afraid to be passionate about something as well. Yeah. And like you say, no matter, the outsider point of view on how you think that's perceived, there's always going to be your people are going to be out there that are going to accept
Find
that.
Your tribe.
Yeah.
And I honestly think I'm seeing the shift, and I hope I see more of it. Leaders, good businesses are asking people, so you'll employ X, Y, and Z to be an accountant, right? And X, Y, Z is very similar to ABC, and ABC is very similar to DEF. They've all been to Cambridge, University of Birmingham, Aston Uni, Oxford, wherever it might be, yeah? They're all the same, yeah? But actually, if you ask ABC what they really like doing, and then you ask DEF what they really like doing, might be very two different things. They volunteer, they play the piano, they play Dungeons and Dragons, or whatever it might be. All different skill sets, analytics, community, methodical, right? And you could bring those different skill sets into the business. So you could ask those questions. I think employers are asking better questions earlier. Rather than just being an accountant. Okay, you can be an accountant, but do you want to set up a community? You know what? You play board games. Dave plays board games in IT. Why don't you set a little group up? And I think workplaces, we have leaders have a number of responsibilities. One is to create opportunity, and one is to ask those better questions earlier on. And I think you get the best out of both worlds if you allow those people to be their real selves.
Yeah. No, I love that. It's really great.
Don't know where Dungeons and Dragons came from. Is that Stranger Things? Yeah. My kids are into it. Yeah, that's what it is.
There
D&D, that's right.
In the background.
Yeah.
You've given some really great tips and advice today around networking, being able to stand out. I feel like we've gone over those quite a lot. But for students and graduates, what practical steps can they take to develop, early in their career when we're thinking about entrepreneur and innovation? I feel like we have talked about this a lot. I didn't know if there was anything else you wanted to add. Obviously, we've talked about networking being really key. Yeah. Being able to kind of find a passion and understand what that is and bring that into your workplace, standing out through things like sending a video rather than just having your CV. I feel like those are all really, really good practical steps students can take to start thinking about. I didn't know whether there was any others you wanted to add in.
What was it? The practical steps.
Practical steps they can take to develop in their early career.
Well, I would say don't rush things in the sense of like your own identity. Like, this sounds really deep, but I'm 46 years old. I don't know what I'm going to be when I'm older. I don't know what I'm going to do when I grow up when I'm 46 years old. So it's like, and I'm so happy with the life I've had. I've been very lucky. But equally, understand two things. One, luck comes from, you have to work hard, right? So please understand, I don't want you to burn out. I don't want you to work 20-hour days, but you have to work hard. You have to be passionate and committed to something to make that work. That is my honest opinion, right? And that resilience, that grit, the wit to understand that there's boundaries that you've got to respect, but you've got to be resilient. You've got to know that it's not linear. It's up, down, left, right, centre. All these graphs, you'll see them, the mountains like that, and then you fall down a cavern, you've got to climb back up the mountains up there. But the best view is after the hardest climb and all that. We've heard all that before. But also what I would say is to students, without getting too deep on whatever day it is today, understand who you are. What do you want out of this life? We don't know what happens after. We didn't know what happened before. But what do you want to achieve? Who are you? What do you believe in? You know, try and find a way of understanding that. Be at peace with that as well. And honestly, that will dictate your journey. Stay true to that. And I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, really great bits of advice there today, PJ.
Should take some myself.
No, I think I will be as well. Definitely around the passion thing. I think being able to get involved in things like this isn't my day-to-day job. My day-to-day job is very much business development. But for me, you know, I feel like I am preaching to the converted here probably, but to others listening, you know, this isn't my day-to-day job. This is something amazing that I've been able to get involved with now, and it does get you a bit more excited, a bit more passionate about you know, other things and the potential there. So yeah, for anyone listening, I definitely think that passion is a really big thing, and it doesn't mean that you have to absolutely eat, sleep, breathe it like you say, because you will burn out. But
just find those butterflies, man. If you make sure you've got them butterflies in your belly, like try and keep those there, because you might think it's nerves. It's not. It's excitement. It's growth. It's all of the above. But that's what a great analogy. You're sitting there doing things that you're not. It's not in your job description. You're learning new things, meeting new people. Definitely. With there's so much we can do in this world, and I mean, I wish I could start again, to be fair.
Definitely saying, I think one of my key takeaways values is definitely saying yes to a little bit more. Yeah. Even if it feels like intimidating.
Well, say yes positively, right? Yeah. Because a yes is always a no to something else, right?
Yes.
So say yes positively. I pause now. So literally take a 7-second pause. It doesn't sound much, does it? But I won't do 7 seconds now because it'll be a waste of time. But so, PJ, can you just do this? The old PJ, not a problem. Pause for 7 seconds.
Think about it.
I won't do it. But all of a sudden, right, and just take it offline. Yeah, let me get back to you. And then say positively. If you can say yes positively in the sense that I want to do this, it's not going to be a massive no to someone else. I've protected my boundaries here. This is going to be amazing. It's going to enable me to do this. Let's say yes positively. And you can say more of that. Perfect. Bring it on.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much,
welcome.
PJ. It's been lovely to chat with you this afternoon.
No, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
We look forward to working with Wit and Grit a lot more.
It's so exciting. There's so much going on at Aston University. Don't tell UOB, but I wish I'd come here. That's my honorary doctorate gone. No, I'm only joking. No, honestly, it's a great space. I think Aston do so much around placemaking and, you know, all that sort of. I've seen the culture. I mean, I've lectured here. So, I've seen what you do for students whilst the students and also after, and it's a real credit what you do. It's a brilliant university, and it's a real privilege to be on your podcast, so thank you.
Thank you. Fab. So that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of From Campus to Careers. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and please do share it with a friend. Don't forget, you can book an appointment with our Careers and Placements team through Aston Futures at any time. Thanks again. See you soon.